That cost how much?
Hello everyone, my name is Kelsey.
And my name is Becky.
And we are the Sorry Girls.
And we are back doing what is one of my favorite series here. That cost how much?
This time, it's Nordstrom edition.
And Nordstrom is what really gets me to say, that cost how much?
Yeah, seriously. And this is our first time ever doing fashion.
Yes, I wanted to do fashion for so long, but didn't know what to do. Well, we found some things this week and we are gonna recreate them the best we can.
I think this is gonna be our most savings
ever.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure it is because this is our most expensive recreations.
Yeah, so should we get right into it?
Let's do it. So the first thing that we're gonna try and replicate is this Fendi Bag Charm that retails for $1,250.70 Canadian, which is a lot. Now I realize that the reason some of these items are probably expensive is because maybe they're made with real gold, this might be made with real fur, but I still feel like we can get something that's cool and similar for much less of the price, even though we are using real fur, which honestly I think is better anyways. So to make our little monster fluffy bag charm, the main thing I'm gonna make it out of is some black faux fur. The smallest amount that we were able to get at our fabric store was 1/4 yard, which cost us $6.25. If you're able to get less cut, that will be cheaper and you won't need as much as we got anyways. So if you can get less, I would do it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take my faux fur and cut out a large circle and create a pom-pom out of it. So I'm taking some sharp scissors and cutting out kind of an ovular shape out of the faux fur. Once I have my shape out, now it's time to stitch it up. So take a long piece of thread on a needle and do really loose, long stitches all the way around the outside of the circle. Very carefully, once you're all the way to the other side, pull your threads tight to start to gather the fur into a pom-pom shape. Make sure you're very careful with this so you don't break your thread as you go. To stuff the pom-pom, I'm actually using some of the extra faux fur as stuffing to cut down on supplies. You're not gonna see it anyways, and this fur is already fluffy enough to work as stuffing. Once it's all fluffed and stuffed, you can tie off your threads to close it up and make your little pom-pom. So once it was together, I kind of gave him a little hairdo and fluffed some furs towards the top and some towards the bottom. And he's starting to come together already. I feel like a connection, this little fluff dude. I'm very excited. So next, we're gonna move on to giving him a little face. So his eyes are made of some yellow faux fur, which we also got from the same place. And again, we had to get 1/4 yard. So this was $6.25 worth of yellow faux fur. And I love this stuff. It's very soft, very convincing. I want a jacket made out of this. So out of this fur, we're gonna cut 2 little yellow circles to start building the eyes. And a trick with this is to cut from the back side. So you're only cutting through kind of the meshy part that's holding the fur on. And I ended up trimming it down until it was exactly the size I wanted it to be. Then I'm using some hot glue to just stick them on to the center of my pom-pom. Now to actually build up the eyes, we're gonna do this out of felt. You can get a sheet of white felt and a sheet of black felt for about $1 from the craft store each. Out of the white, I'm cutting out 2 little circular spots. And then out of the black, I'm cutting out 2 little teardrop shapes that are slightly smaller than the size of the white ones. Then you can assemble using hot glue, putting your black teardrops onto your white circles. And once those are done, then you can put them onto the yellow floofy parts of the eyes. A trick I found out with this one is get a lot of hot glue on the back and then use your finger to push down really hard on the yellow. And this helps kind of create like an inset look in the eye and makes it look a little bit more finished. So this is how he's looking, and I love him. So the main part of this is done, so now it's time to move on to the chain part, or like the keychainy bit that we'll use to attach this to a bag. So to build the keychain part of our little bag charm, I'm gonna be using some black faux leather, which you can get a strip of this for about like $4 at your fabric store. And I'm gonna be using some gold jump rings. You can get a pack of varying sizes of jump rings online for like about $5 a pack. So I started with my faux leather and cut out a long strip. I made sure that this was twice as wide as I wanted the final thing to end up being. I then went in with some hot glue and folded in the sides towards the back to create a really nice edge. Once my thin strap is completed, it's time to move on to the jump rings. I have 3 sizes here, a small, a medium, and a large. I used the small jump ring to attach the large to the medium. And then I took my black strap and threaded it through the medium ring. I used some more hot glue to bend over the edge and close it up. As a final touch, we actually had this kind of random charm from something in the past, and I added it on because it did look a little bit similar to the one in the photo. Once that's done, I trimmed down my strap and I used a needle and thread to sew it to the side of my pom-pom. All right, this is him. He is complete, he is cute. I'm very impressed. This looks so much like the one in the photo, in my honest opinion, and I can't wait to style this on a bag. So cute. So our bag charm ended up costing us a total of $22.50 to make, and the original retails for $1,251.70.
Next up, we're going to be tackling this Yves Saint Laurent, or is it just Saint Laurent now? Don't get twisted. Next up, we're going to be tackling this Saint Laurent shearling tote bag. It is gorgeous, I love it, but it's $3,825. That's like, you could buy a car for that price.
My car.
Standing down. So we're not going to be upcycling this, we are going to be building a bag from scratch, but to do this, I wanted to go to the thrift store to see if we could find some pieces that are gonna help us make this bag. So we were checking out the belt section to find some belts that we could use as these straps for our bag. We also looked for a luggage tag while we were there because this bag does have a luggage tag, but we didn't find anything, so that's okay, we'll have to DIY that from scratch. And we were also looking for Sherpa. Like, you can buy Sherpa at the fabric store, but buying fabric does add up a little bit, and we weren't sure if we'd be able to find the right white Sherpa because we've had problems finding this at the fabric store in the past. So instead we were looking for big sweaters or jackets or something at the thrift store that would have that faux Sherpa lining, and we had lots of options. So we ended up getting this big old Sherpa sweater, which is so cute, and luckily it is large, so we will be able to make the bag out of this, and this was only $5.20. Way cheaper than if we were to buy like a meter of fabric. We also got these little faux leather belts, and these were $5.20, so those can be used as our straps. And we also did head to the fabric store to get some faux leather. This is going to be used to make the base of our bag, and we got half a yard for $7.50. So I created a little plan. When you're kind of replicating something like this, you can even do this with a favorite shirt you have or something that you really love that you own and you want to make another version of it. You kind of deconstruct that thing. So I was taking a look at the picture and I drew out here the different pieces that we're going to need. So I'm gonna get started by cutting all of those out. So I'm cutting out 6 pieces total. I cut out 2 large pieces that are 20 inches by 16 inches out of my faux leather, and then 2 smaller pieces that are about 5 inches and 14 inches, as well as adding some seam allowance to those. Those are gonna be my bottom pieces. And then when it comes to my Sherpa, I'm taking the front pocket off of my sweater because I'm going to need this fabric and I don't want it to have a pocket in it. And then the Sherpa on the bag actually has a seam up the middle as well as a seam on the side. And at first I was gonna cut out like a bunch of pieces and sew them together to create that seam. But then I realized that the sides of the sweater already have a seam. So instead I'm going to be using those seams up the side of the sweater as my middle seams and cutting out a 20 inch by 16 inch rectangle with the seam directly in the middle. So now I have 6 pieces total, 2 of my Sherpa with the middle seam, 2 that are the same size out of my faux leather, and then 2 faux leather bottom pieces. Next, I'm gonna put them together and make 2 bags. So I'm gonna take one of my skinny bottom pieces and fold it in half so I can find out where the middle is. And then I'm going to line up the middle of my Sherpa fabric, which is easy because there's a seam down the middle, and pin it to where the middle of my bottom piece is, and then continue pinning it all the way around the edge so that it wraps around to the middle of the short side. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pin up the sides of the Sherpa so that I know to sew them together. And then I'm gonna take it to the sewing machine and sew all the way around the bottom of the bag and up the 2 sides. And now I have something that looks like this, and this is going to be our outside, and I get to flip it inside out now, which is the best part. See if it worked. Whoa. You know, sometimes you're just like, damn, I'm pretty good. So this is my outside, and I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing, but with my faux leather pieces now to create my inside lining. Once my lining is complete and my outside are complete, I'm going to be putting my lining inside my outside. And then around the top, I'm going to be folding in the lining and folding in the outside so that they come together with the good sides together. And then I'm going to go all the way around the edge to finish it off nicely and keep the lining and the outside together. But before I sew this all up, I'm going to add in my straps. And for the straps, I'm going back to those belts that we picked up from the thrift store. And I'm cutting off 21-inch pieces of the belts that don't have any holes or buckles on it. And with 2 of those, I'm going to slip them about 3.5 inches from the center seam so that they're about 7 inches apart on each side. And I pinned those into place and then just sewed them in between the lining and the outside when I sewed up around the entire edge. So this is what my tote looks like now. It's really good. It's so good. It's so good. And we're almost done. The last thing we need to do is the little luggage tag that's on it. So to make my luggage tag, I'm taking a piece of my faux brown leather from earlier, cutting a little strip and folding it in half. And then I'm sewing up each of the sides, leaving just a little bit of room at the top. Once that's done, I used a roller to cut as closely as I can to those seams to make a nice crisp line. And then I went ahead and rounded the top corners. Since I'm going to be using an extra piece of my belt for this, I just brought that over to see how big I need to make my little slit at the top of my luggage tag. And then technically the belt piece should be like one little mini belt because it needs to wrap around like the handle of the bag. So I'm actually cutting off the 2 ends, the one side with the holes, one side with the buckle, and combining them and using a zigzag stitch. Once my little belt was complete, I added a couple more holes using a leather hole punch. Then I threaded my luggage tag onto my mini belt and my mini belt / luggage tag onto my handle, and the whole thing is now done. I think it looks so good. This looks way more than $17.90, which is what it cost me to make versus the, I don't even know how much, versus the original. So this tote only cost me $17.90 to make. And I think it looks way more expensive than that, but it didn't cost us $3,825, which is what the original retails for.
All right, and last up we have probably the most questionable fashion piece in this whole series, but I'm excited to attempt it. It is this chain harness t-shirt by Comme des Garçons, and it costs $737 for this t-shirt that looks very uncomfortable in my opinion, but we're gonna do it because I think it's a fun challenge. So basically, it's a black shirt with some chains on it. So we went to the hardware store to pick up all the materials since it essentially is hardware store materials, and we were gonna get metal chain. But then we saw this, which is plastic chain, much, much cheaper and much lighter to actually wear because I was thinking about it. I feel like a t-shirt made of chain would be so heavy and uncomfortable to wear around all the time, so I think plastic is a better option and we can spray paint it. So we got about 7 feet of this plastic chain and that cost us $10.57. And on top of that, we got a whole bunch of other miscellaneous hardware pieces that I will explain what they are once we start building this thing, but all of those pieces cost us $25. So the first step is going to be to actually assemble this chain harness, and then we'll put it on the t-shirt after. So after attempting both some sharp wire cutters and a little hacksaw, I actually found the most efficient and easiest way to cut this chain was to use a chisel and a hammer. And just put your chisel up against one of the links and hammer it, and it snaps the plastic right in half. It's pretty fast and it's really easy. So what I did here is I cut my chains to lengths of 4 links, 8 links, 12 links, and 2 that were 18 links in length. Obviously, you'll need to adjust these lengths if you're making a shirt that's either smaller or bigger. So my next step is to take my white plastic chain and spray paint it all with a shiny chrome spray paint to make it look metal. So I laid all my chains inside of my handy dandy spray paint tent and gave them all a coat of some shiny silver spray paint. This spray paint cost me $9.50. Okay, I'm back. All of my chains are dry, and I have to say, they're very convincing looking. Like once you touch them, you're like, something's not right. But when you look at them, they look metal to me. So the next step is gonna be to assemble the whole harness, and then we can put it on the t-shirt after. So this goes back to where I talked about all of those random hardware pieces that we picked up earlier. So the items that we have are these snaps here, some quick links, which are essentially chain links, but you're able to open them and close them, which is gonna be super helpful. And we have that in 2 sizes, a large and a small. So I'm gonna follow the shape of the shirt and kind of assemble my harness. So let's get to putting this thing together. So I started by laying out my 2 longer pieces, and at the very top, they are put together with 2 little carabiner snaps. And then on top of that goes our 2 mini quick links. The top horizontal bar is your smallest piece of chain, which gets attached on one side with 1 quick link. And on the other side goes a security snap. Moving down to the next biggest horizontal piece, again, you guessed it, security snap on one side and a quick link on the other. The last step is to add in the back piece, which goes around the back of the shirt. So I just moved that down one chain link and then added that on, but this time you only need 2 quick links and not a security snap for this one. So my chain harness is coming together really nicely actually, and it kind of actually works with this outfit, I'm not gonna lie. But the very last step is to add this onto our black t-shirt. We got a black t-shirt from the thrift store and it cost us $1.99. So what we're gonna do is take some needle and thread and just sew our tiny little quick links to the shoulders of the black t-shirt. And then we'll be done. So this is how our final chain-inspired t-shirt turned out. I think we did a really good job coming close to the original piece here. This one only cost us $47 to make, whereas the original cost $737.11. Plus ours is better for your back. Yes, we did a good job.
We did a very good job.
This is the one I was like most nervous about because I feel like the stakes were the highest because these items were so like bougie. I really didn't want to mess it up.
That's true. We didn't want to like not do justice.
I know. I feel like they could look real cheap considering they were like designer inspired if we did them really badly.
That's true. But I think they're professional. A professional dupe.
I want to rock all of these things. Well, the chain, it's a little questionable, but I think we did a good job comparing it to the photo.
Also, the bag that I made is cruelty-free.
So is the fur fluff pom-pom charm.
That's right, and the bag's reversible, the way we did it.
I know, we figured that out after we were doubly excited.
Stoked.
I want to remind you guys that the links to the original products are below if you so happen to want to check them out. Anyways,
let us know which store or that cost how much items you would like to see next time on the series. And while we have you here, we'd love it if you guys gave this channel a subscribe and our vlog channel a subscribe because there's lots of fun behind the scenes happenings when you see people comment in the comments below. Vlog fam or like vlog fam knows or something vlog fam, that's because they follow the story life and we love it there. It's our other little baby. It's our like newer baby.
Yeah, we like the new child better.
No, that's a lie.
We love all our children equally.
We love all of our children. But yeah, check out that channel if you haven't already. And if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like.
And if you love it, make sure you sub it.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Hello guys, I just want to shout out this awesome geode art made by Catherine. Oh my goodness, is it ever cute. I love how it turned out. Awesome job sending us your recreations on Instagram using #SorryGirlsSquad.